the host of Aaron's Hour, Aaron Phillips.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to the first edition of Aaron's Hour 2026. As always, coming to you live from Virginia Beach. A little chilly, a little overcast, but dry, unlike my buddy out there, Mr. John Stiles. How you doing, sir? Happy New Year to you. Yeah. Man of many words. Boy,
I'm practicing for being on the float next year.
There you go. There you go. I love it. That's right. If you missed yesterday's Kiwanis Connects, we had an opportunity to talk to a couple of people who are actually down at the Rose Bowl down on Colorado Boulevard down there. Great experience. But
have you ever been to the Rose Parade?
Actually, yes, my dad and I, let's see, probably about 30 years ago when Penn State first was accepted into the Big Ten Conference. Penn State played Oregon, ironically, in the Rose Bowl, and my wife Eileen and my mom sent both my dad and I out to Pasadena. We were on the parade route, and then we were sitting in the Rose Bowl Stadium for the game.
Nice.
However, I've never experienced the building of the floats like we talked about with Mal, but Eileen and my girls, when my girls were young, they actually traveled out to Pasadena, and they were part of Hell Week one time in their life. So,
oh, nice.
They can speak from experience. Me, I have to live vicariously through others for now.
But I've done it twice. I mean, I've been to the parade twice, and that was enough.
That was Listen, it's because of the amount of people, the millions of people on the parade route, let alone the 70 million people on TV. It's a great marketing thing. But you're right. It's one of those things I think that's on the to-do list that you should try to do at least once.
Right.
And that's all you need, just once,
Right.
Unless you have an apartment or an office building overlooking the parade route.
Right.
Crazy.
The second year we went, I was old enough to drive. The first year, I lived in Hollywood, and myself and three friends from high school, we hitchhiked to Pasadena.
Really?
Yeah. And we stayed up.
How long of a hitchhike?
We were out there maybe 10 or 15 minutes and got a ride with a guy in a pickup truck that was going to the parade.
Right.
So, like an hour and a half. And then we rode up and down Colorado Boulevard. The night before, everybody's cruising Colorado Boulevard.
Right.
And then getting home, he gave us a ride back home.
There you go. Well,
and then the second year we drove, and because we knew from the first year how bad the traffic was, we parked two blocks away from the entrance to the freeway.
Right.
It still took us over 3 hours to go those 2 blocks to get onto the freeway.
Well, isn't that a lot like getting to Allegiant Stadium in Vegas nowadays?
Yeah. and so, I mean, that's after being up and partying all night,
Sure.
Then watching the parade, and then try to get the hell out of there. So, yeah, that was it's like being on the Strip or downtown for New Year's Eve. It's like, okay, I've done that. That's it. Don't need that anymore.
One time. That's all you
screw
need.
that. Leave it to the amateurs.
Before John and I keep going with our ridiculous conversation today, I wanted to thank everybody for joining us today, whether you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube. Remember, tomorrow, every Sunday, 1 p.m. on dbtv.tv. You'll now also find Aaron's Hour there. And 8 a.m., you'll find Kiwanis Connects as another source to find our shows. And, of course, without the likes of Miliari Group, Comfort Care, Home Care Virginia Beach, Tidewater Community College, Different Strokes 757, Coastal Aesthetics 757, and the Voice Hall of Fame Apparel, this show would not be possible. I want to thank all of my sponsors. And so the best thing to do, just go to aaronshour.vegas, click on the sponsorship tab. For all of those people I just mentioned, you'll find their logo. Click the logo. We'll take them right to their website. John, I've always had this fear that if I try to remember websites, if you're off one letter, you end up sending people to sites you don't want to send them to.
Yeah.
So that's why it's just easier. Go to aaronshour.vegas, click on the sponsorship tab. And of course, also, if you go to my Facebook page, when I put my promo posts up for all of my sponsors and all the different things that I try to promote, I put their logos up in the promo, and then in the comment section under the caption box when you set it up, I also put the links for each and every one of those. So you're welcome to go check that out as well. Either place, greatly appreciated to not only support the advertisers that support the show, but also the nonprofits and all the organizations that both John and I support as well, because John's stuff is on there. you want some great video work, if you have a movie you want to do, commercials, whatever, John's got a great setup there in Vegas. And quite frankly, although my logo is missing above my head here, WVBV TV, my network here in Virginia Beach, as we are an affiliate of John's studio out there in Vegas, we do the same thing. I have a full-fledged studio. If you need content, you need voiceover, you need script writing, or if you just want to rent the studio for your own purposes, we can do that as well. You can check that out at WVBVTV.com. All right, so what's going on today's show? Well, here's the thing. I think a lot of people are still in that 2025 celebratory 2026 fog, and people's emails and cell phone numbers and text messages have gone unanswered for a week. So today, John and I thought we'd have a little fun. Plus, I want John to talk about his show, Doing It with Styles. We kind of talk about it every once in a while, but I want John to spend a few minutes talking about what he does on the network. But today, I got everything from topics we'll talk about here in Vegas Wrap 2.0, but I thought we'd have some fun. You know, John, people talk about resolutions at this time of year. And you and I have talked about this many times over here. There's one resolution I make each and every year, and that is I don't make resolutions, because we all know you end them a couple of weeks later anyway. But I really thought about this the other day. Where did resolutions come from? How did they start? Why did they start? You know, we always talk about goals and writing stuff down, and we want to do all of this, but my crack research staff, we ended up researching how resolutions got started a while ago, and we'll talk about that a little bit, maybe share some thoughts. And
I know it was Zig Ziglar.
That's right. And then we'll share a little bit about year in review. John and I will talk about some things that we've experienced in 2025 or newsworthy items, whatever, off the cuff. Put your comments and questions in the chat room, whether it's Facebook or YouTube. Love to know what you want to talk about. What was your favorite thing of 2025, folks? Let me know what you remember most, a news story, something that you've accomplished, a family, whatever it is. Share it. We'd love to share it with everybody out there. All right, with that, without further ado, it is time now for the first 2026 version of Vegas Unwrapped. I guess it's 3.0 now.
With a nod to the past and an eye to the future, here is Aaron Phillips with Vegas Unwrapped 2.0.
Maybe this would be a good time to talk about the history of Vegas Unwrapped.
Yeah, you know what? That's
2.0.
a good idea. You know what? That's a good idea. Let's start off with that. So, how did it start? No, gosh. So Ricky Cash, may rest in peace, my best bud out there in Vegas. We lost him, I guess this upcoming May, John, it'll be 4 years.
Yeah.
So I started my career over 20 years ago with another individual after 3 years doing some sports work with him. Ricky and we sold timeshare together, and we were best friends. And as a Yankee and Giants fan that I am, he was a Mets and Jets fan just to piss me off, I think. But he came up to me one day and he said, "Man, I'd love to do a sports talk show with you." And I said, "No." And he said, "What?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Listen, I'd love to do a show, but I don't want to do sports. I don't want to get pigeonholed as much as I love sports." So he and I sold timeshare out there. John was also part of the timeshare industry, not as long as Ricky and I were, that's for darn sure. But and so we came with this concept that with all we were learning about Vegas, so we were sharing as representatives of timeshare about the history of Vegas and development and growth. And we figured, why not do a show that really kept Vegas in the spotlight, right, John? I mean, more times than not, Vegas does have a pretty bad reputation because of perceptions, right?
Right.
I mean, you know, it's seedy, and yes, it's Sin City, and yes, all that exists, but it's not as Wild West, I think, as a lot of people think it is.
I blame the movies for that.
Sure.
You know, because it's like you take one small incident and you blow it up into this. I mean, not to take anything away from what certain organizations did while they were here, but you know, yeah, it was. I mean, as a family, and I lived here as a kid. You know, I mean, right. my sister and I, you know, I was in the 5th grade and she was in the 4th grade, and it was a safe place for families.
Sure.
It was, you know, you never worried about crime and crap like that because they wouldn't tolerate it. It was like, you don't crap in your own backyard, I guess. So
Absolutely.
but anyway, moving right along.
But that seedy part of Vegas. Look, prostitution. There's all of that, up in Pahrump or wherever they are, up in the illegal brothels and all. Yeah, folks, that does exist. But like John said, and I spent 27 years out there, it's quite frankly really no different than any other city, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not talking about a big city in comparison, but any city, you're going to have your sections of a town that are questionable. So Ricky and I decided that with all the growth and the development and the new casinos, we were going to do a show that was really going to do our best to keep Las Vegas in as positive a spotlight as possible and share all the good stuff that goes on, which is one of the reasons early on, he and I really decided, well, me more than him, he kind of went along with it. Really didn't want to get into the politics and religion of what was going on in areas because that's too divisive in a lot of ways. And we wanted to talk positive. We wanted to keep everything all in a good direction. And so Vegas Unwrapped was born back, I don't even remember the first year that we did it. The calendar has just gone by so fast. And we just talked about everything we were learning about timeshare. We brought in guests. We brought in business people. A lot of what kind of you see here on Aaron's Hour kind of spawned off of what we did with Vegas Unwrapped. And Ricky Cash, I'm going to turn to you, John. How would you describe Ricky to somebody who's never heard him, who never met him? Listen, all of our Vegas Unwrapped shows, folks, if you search Vegas Unwrapped on YouTube, all the shows are out there. So you can catch on and see and many of them up there are courtesy of John as he was filming and uploading our shows. How would you describe Ricky to the audience?
Ricky was a caricature. It's the best way that I can describe him. I remember some of our conversations when we'd go to lunch, between shows or shit like that. And on some hands, he was a pretty smart guy. And at other times, I could not believe for a man his age how naive he was. So he was kind of like the caricature of a man-child.
And
you couldn't help but like the guy.
And I want to stress to the audience, you're saying caricature, but I want people to realize he's not mispronouncing character.
That's correct.
So I just want to share that. He was a character.
Yeah.
But he was a caricature. And I have to give the best talked about.
I know what you're going to say. Go.
Listen, as one would tend to happen, sometimes conversations go askew, especially on live radio. And so, although we generally don't do this here on this show, I will give like a 3-second disclaimer that if you're going to get embarrassed by something that has sexual innuendo, you might want to just turn your volume down for about 5 seconds. Because John and I, in this one episode of Vegas Unwrapped, learned that Ricky did not know what camel toe was. He had never heard of the phrase. He had no idea. And I think the rest of the show, John and I were trying to be so politically correct in trying to explain it to him that during the show, we were both pulling up pictures on our phone and sending it to him during the show. And I don't remember if it was your picture or I sent him one, but all of a sudden we're talking about something and you could just see him turn white first and then red embarrassment because he saw the picture that described what we were talking about. And then of course on the other side of the coin, the male version of that, of course he had never heard of, which was bull's balls, right?
Yeah,
he had never heard of that either, right? We talked about that the following week, but boy, that was probably one of the funniest times. And you're right, John. That was probably as much as. And listen, Ricky was an educator. He was a principal. Loved history. Yeah. Tony Martini, one of the best Vegas entertainers, loved getting into conversations with Tony, with Ricky, just about history, and the amount of knowledge, Ricky had was insurmountable. And I think after a while, he just kind of played into the hipster Cash that he was, into that character. And I'll tell you what, John, and you kind of alluding to it, he embraced it.
Oh yeah. No, he really did, get into it once he got and that and the other one that I always remember is what are you, a country bumpkin?
Oh yes. Yes. So that's another story. Oh my God! And I know this is up there on Facebook somewhere, but thank you to Craig Vincent. For those who don't know who Craig Vincent is, he is an actor that was in the movie Casino. That if y'all remember the scene of the cowboy as he's gambling, he puts his feet up on the table, and Robert De Niro and Don Rickles come over and try to get his feet down. Blah blah blah. Anyway, that's Craig Vincent. So he arranged at Green Valley Ranch. We were with that studio that was owned by a gentleman from Australia. And so, folks, if you know anything about the mob history, picture this, if you will. Henry Hill, Frank Cullotta, Dennis Arnoldi, who was the FBI agent that arrested Frank Cullotta and the Hole in the Wall gang the night that they were taken in. Anthony DiDonato from the New York Genevieve crime family. Dennis, oh gosh, I'm blanking on his name. God, he wrote all the books about these guys. Anyway, and Craig Vincent, and we did a roundtable interview. Yeah. Okay, we did a roundtable interview with these guys at the Green Valley Ranch, courtesy of Craig Vincent. Tony Martini was in attendance. He hung out with us. So we're going through the interview, and we all know, and John, you were alluding to it growing up, the mob part of Vegas and, inbred in there. And there's always conversation, even still to this day, is the mob still involved in Las Vegas, Yeah. So, folks, you got to understand, Henry Hill didn't care about WITSEC. He didn't care about witness protection. He lived his life. And if you don't know who Henry Hill is, then you need to watch the movie Goodfellas, because Ray Liotta plays Henry Hill, and that movie is based loosely on Henry.
Yeah.
And so Henry didn't come across a bottle of liquor that he didn't want to love. Let's just put it that way. And he was as sauced as one could get in this live interview. And we're probably about 3/4 of the way through, and Ricky looks deadpan at Henry, and he goes, Henry, he says, let me ask you a serious question. And so Henry looks at him and goes, sure, Ricky, what do you want? And Ricky goes, is the mob still involved in the casino industry in Las Vegas? And without skipping a beat, Henry Hill looks at Ricky, looks at me quickly, and then goes back to Ricky and he says, what are you, a country bumpkin? Right? And I had the microphone in my hand, and I look deadpan in the camera, and I go, well, ladies and gentlemen, mic drop. Thank you for watching. We're out of here. And from that point forward, one of the other nicknames that we called Ricky was, of course, Country Bumpkin.
Country Bumpkin, yeah.
That will also go down in infamy. So, so Vegas Rap 2.0 comes as our little tip of the cap to our dear friend Ricky. That's why he's in the intro. The theme that you hear, yes, the Odd Couple theme song was our song when we did Vegas Rap, and we ran that show for 7 years. Vegas Rap was on the air for 7 years, and it was probably the most fun doing something like that with Ricky and John when we were together doing that show. And I miss him dearly, and we speak to Kimberly quite often, and the kids, everybody's doing well. So Ricky, it's for you, bud. All right. So speaking of Vegas, let's get into some, man, the time is flying.
I know.
So that's okay. I was going to say maybe we won't do commercials, but I don't think my sponsor.
You know what? Why don't we take one long break in the middle?
Okay.
At the bottom of the hour, I'll run all the commercials.
All right,
and get us started.
And then we'll try to sign out at 5 Loves, and we can give them their second
we
runs.
Get the rest. We'll get them in there again. Okay.
Because I do have to give them two airings.
That's no. Yeah. Or right. I'll just play all of them twice in the middle. No.
We'll come back after Domino's delivers in 30 minutes, right? All right, so let's talk about this. So 2026 got off to a good start for not one, not two, but 4 people in Las Vegas. 4 fortunate gamblers kicked off the new year with significant jackpots at the Virgin Hotels Las Vegas. New Year's Eve, 2 winners struck it lucky with a $13,440 win on a mere, are you ready for this, folks? 88-cent bet from a Grand Buddha machine, and then a winner of $16,400 won on a $5 bet from the Phoenix Link machine. Now, the winning streak continued the next day on New Year's Day. The first hit was just a touch over $12,000 on a $1.20 jackpot bet on Wicked Wheels, while the second winner scored a $20,000 jackpot on a $25 bet from 777 Double Jackpot Machine, culminating in a win of $27,260. Now, they're now $1.8 billion winnings.
Yeah,
like,
I'm sorry, but those are kind of chump changey.
yeah, but for 88 cents, would you be disappointed getting?
No. I mean, the ratio there is pretty fucking good. But
Right.
I mean, it's like, and I think that's one thing that we're seeing here in Vegas, and I'm sure you probably might be aware of it too. You don't see any more of the big jackpots.
Not at least not advertised.
Not in the last few years. Nah.
Yeah. What's funny is that I was looking at an article this morning at the same time I pulled those off. And of course, they were talking about how the casino revenue from November of 24 to 25 actually went up.
Right.
Yet tourism is down from November to November again in that same period, which is like 10 months in a row for Vegas. So
Interesting.
How are the winnings going up while visitation is down like another 14%? It was a ridiculous number.
Yeah.
And you would think for major jackpots to woo people back, just like they did after COVID, you'd be telling people all over the world, oh, million here, million. We're reporting more of that stuff coming out of the Virginia Beach, Hampton Roads area than I have been in Vegas. It is absolutely crazy. All right. Another thing that happens in January all over the country are new laws that take effect in each of the states come January. And of course, Nevada and Virginia is no exception. But I want to touch on some in Nevada, John. If you were to pick a number between 1 and 100, how many new laws do you think are going into effect in your home state of Nevada this year as of this past January 1st?
86.
Oh, not bad. But the actual number is 55, which I thought was huge.
I just got 86 in my head.
So I'm not going to go over all 55. I'm going to go over just a few that.
Thank God. We don't have time, man.
No, we don't have time for that. I'm just going to pull a few of them, and I'm going to read the law, and I just love your feedback on this. So there are a couple regarding Nevada crime bills that have some new provisions in them, okay? So stalking. So, John, you may want to take note of this one. Stalking laws are expanded to cover protection of dating partners, including posting content online that increases the risk of harm to the victim. So now stalking for dating purposes, putting stuff up there. Stealing from a store. This one's pretty interesting. A new law makes it a felony to steal from a retail business and commit property damage such that both actions exceed $750. So think of smash and grab like in a jewelry store, right?
Right.
If the cost of the repair and the items taken exceed $749, then the perpetrator will face a felony charge.
I thought that didn't the limit used to be $200?
I guess, but now they increased it for
wait. Let's see. Yeah, anything under 200, I think, was a misdemeanor.
Okay, well now they've upped it.
Okay,
But I love the fact that they're now including damages.
Damages, yeah.
So DUI, I don't know what's taken them this long, but harsher penalties are put in place for repeat driving under the influence offenders and for DUI incidents causing death. You think? Okay, that's an obvious one. This one was kind of interesting. Bounce house law inspired by a Reno girl's death goes into effect. In 2019, a Reno backyard birthday party turned tragic when an inflatable bounce house was lifted by a gust of wind into power lines. 9-year-old Lizzie Hammond lost her life. Inspired by her experience, lawmakers voted to approve a law aimed at preventing such tragedies. It set strict licensing, insurance, inspection, and safety rules for companies renting inflatable devices. So when I read this article up to that point, how are you going to make a company liable for weather? Right? Mother Nature.
Tie downs.
Okay, so as I read,
you have to secure it. Right?
Well, they're generally secured and tied down normally with some apparatus, but obviously not.
But now you have to be more concerned with high winds.
So
which we do experience sometimes here.
especially out of nowhere in the middle of the desert. What do they call those Habibs, whatever they're called in the middle of the dust?
Habibs or something. Yeah.
So some of the safety rules, these include not allowing the operation of inflatable devices like bounce houses and water slides if winds top 15 miles per hour. So imagine just like the first bungee cord guy to test how far you can. How do you test these? You put them in a wind tunnel somewhere? Sorry, 14 miles per hour, even though you're 15?
Well, I mean, that's pretty much, you should know this. It's pretty much all math, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because like 15-mile-an-hour crosswinds, if you're in a small plane, is extremely dangerous.
Absolutely.
If you're in a big plane, it's not so bad. It's inconvenient, but it ain't so bad. So
absolutely. All right, here's a new one. New Nevada law tackles unauthorized restaurants on food delivery apps. A new law requires food delivery apps like Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Grubhub to get a restaurant's permission before including them. Wouldn't you think that would be done on the first end? Because apparently when a restaurant is listed on a platform without permission, it loses control over critical aspects of its operations, including pricing, food quality, and customer service.
Okay, I get it.
So apparently these guys are not communicating to the restaurants. All right, a couple more, and then we'll switch over here. New Nevada laws on political AI, childbirth, and such. So AI in political campaigns. So ahead of 2026 midterms for you guys, a new law requires any communication related to an election to disclose if an image, video, or audio has been manipulated, such as with AI. If not, then the candidate who is depicted in such a way can sue whoever made or paid the campaign ad.
Okay, so read that the wording again in the beginning.
A new law requires any communication related to an election that they must disclose if an image, video, or audio has been manipulated, such as with AI. Okay.
So the reason I'm asking is I've been doing a lot of work with AI recently, and so by manipulating, in other words, let's say that I took I don't know, let's say I took ChatGPT, and I take a picture of a candidate. Mm-hmm. And I say, create a photorealistic picture of this person playing badminton. So that would count as manipulating.
Yep.
If I take a picture of this individual and just place them on a like a banner with their logo and stuff on it, would that be manipulating? If
it's representing that candidate,
yes.
I don't think you have a problem. But if you took said candidate in that badminton outfit, put a dress on the person if they don't normally have one,
right?
You put a what do they call a cloud where you would show verbiage that says something disparaging. That could be the problem.
Yeah. Okay.
But if you're hiring a candidate to put something together and they've given you permission, then you've already got permission because it's
right, and that was the other thing too. I mean, they're paying me to do this for them.
That's fine.
For them,
they're paying you to do something disparaging against an opponent,
against another one. Okay, then that makes sense, and I do agree with that 100%.
More doctors. A new law makes it easier for doctors from the United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, and other countries with similar standards to those in the U.S. can now get licensed in the state of Nevada. It also creates a telemedicine license for out-of-state doctors to provide care online or on the phone. And I'm going to guess that's being done to try to squelch any concerns people have regarding the lack of medical practitioners in the state.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Increased childbirth fee. This is interesting. Currently, newborns are screened for a variety of disorders that can be prevented if treated early, which makes total sense. A state lab in Nevada charges $81, a fee that hasn't increased since 2014. That fee will now rise to $150.
Okay, what was it before?
81.
Okay.
So it's been 12 years. Been 12 years and just about
It's almost, yeah, it's a 50% increase. Well, it's almost doubled.
Here is two that is find interesting because of our good friend Melissa Atwell, founder of the Mental Health Moment.
Right.
Crimes with a mental health component. So if a defendant in a criminal case is found incompetent to assist in their own defense, they are currently sent to a mental health facility within a jail or a secure state hospital. Such places have long waiting lists, creating a bottleneck where defendants might linger in jail waiting treatment for a longer time than normal if they've been convicted on the day of their arrest. That's the current situation. Now, the new law allows such people to also be sent to private facilities capable of providing treatment toward attaining legal competency.
Okay.
So they've just provided.
Who decides that they can get sent to these places?
I'm going to guess based on availability, the judge who would normally be sentencing them.
Okay, good. Yeah.
And in conjunction with that, more professional counselors. A new law aims to address the shortage of mental health providers in Nevada. It allows the state to enter into an interstate.
Well, that's obvious. If you've ever been out on the street here.
It allows the state to enter into interstate agreement or a compact where licensed professional counselors who provide mental health and substance abuse therapy can practice across member states. So basically like a law of reciprocity in a way to where these other practitioners can help. All right, that does it for the state of Nevada and their laws. When we come back, we'll shed a little light on some of the law changes here in Virginia, and then John and I will dive into the history of resolutions. You're watching a very unique episode of Aaron's Hour, Coast to Coast. We'll be right back.
Men, are you disappointing your partner in the bedroom? Let's cut to the chase. Are you suffering from erectile dysfunction? 50% of men between the ages of 40 to 70 experience some form of ED. If you are experiencing ED, there is help without pills or needles to even worry about. Coastal 757 Aesthetics has new technology for men called Apex RF. Apex RF is a modern, non-invasive treatment that uses radio frequency to strengthen tissue from the inside out, resulting in better blood flow to the penis and a happier life partner. Call Coastal 757 Aesthetics at 757-481-4036 for a free consultation. That's 757-481-4036. Coastal 757 Aesthetics. Care for all phases of life.
Is your credit card debt getting you down? When that student loan payment is due, does your cable bill go unpaid? Are you ready to throw in the towel because you do not know how to financially survive? The Miliari Group is ready to educate you on how to get out from under the pile of debt and retire as a tax-free millionaire. They eliminate student and credit card debt and help families set their kids up for success. For more information, call 956-532-2349 or email williamsastria961@gmail.com or scan the QR code to meet with us. The first 100 calls will receive a free will. So, call 956-532-2349 or scan the QR code now and learn how to become the millionaire you always dreamed to be.
It's not just you're here for 2 years and you're gone. It's you have a community, you have a network.
It doesn't matter where you came from or what you've done in the past. Everybody has the same opportunity here.
The financial resources, the community aspect of it, really important for your first 2 years of college. And you get that at TCC.
You know, we take family real serious here at TCC. We're a community, hence Topwater Community College.
I wouldn't let aging stop me from being me.
Oh yeah, still got those moves in me.
I will be fabulous.
I will accessorize.
Comfort Care can help with as much or as little home care as you need. From medication reminders and meal prep to everyday chores and errands. Let us create your personalized care plan and find the perfect caregiver match so you can live your best life possible.
Hey, honey, what you doing?
Getting ready to watch a game.
What about fixing up the house like you promised?
What you talking about?
Just the new light in the den, the new shower in our bathroom, the new fence around the yard, the front steps.
Stop! You know, I have a better idea. You know Craig down the street? He owns a company that specializes in handyman services, but he is more than just any old handyman.
Really? Would you say different strokes for different folks?
You know I will. You know why? Because he does home repairs and he does painting and kitchen remodels and bathrooms and everything else in between.
How are his prices?
Great value for great quality. You know, I think I'll invite him over and get a free estimate for all the things that I know will make you the happiest here.
Call Different Strokes Painting and Handyman Service for a free estimate by calling 757-395-9999 today.
That's 757-395-9999. Above the rest, they show up and show out by making your vision come to life. All right, welcome back. Just a reminder, go to aaronshour.vegas. Click on the sponsorship tab for all of our sponsors. Just look for their logo. Click on the logo. Takes you right to their website. All right, thank you for joining us today, making us part of your Saturday, wherever it is you're watching, whether you're listening and watching live or catching it on the replay. Just a reminder, you can catch it anywhere on our Facebook pages, YouTube channels, and on dbtv.tv. Something exciting, which I'll share with everybody, starting on the 17th of this month, I have a new show on TV. John, can you believe somebody actually thinks I might be good on TV? I don't know why, but The Voice of 757 will be debuting on January 17th at 12:30 p.m. here on Sky 4, which is a local privately owned television station in the Hampton Roads area. And you know, we keep throwing around these words, Hampton Roads. We're talking about Norfolk, Portsmouth, Newport News, Suffolk, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, and of course, Hampton, the city itself. So first show will debut on the 17th and it will be available on social media. So keep an eye on that for postings. And as they say on TV, check your local listings. I've always wanted to say that. All right, So we just spent a little bit of time talking about some law changes for the state of Nevada. Let's bring it to the East Coast. Let's talk about some of the law changes here in Virginia. And then we're going to start talking about some Google searches of 2025, and then we'll talk about the origins of New Year's resolutions. So here you go. A lot less here in the state of Virginia than what is being dealt with there in Nevada. So the first one is minimum wage. Virginia's minimum wage is going to increase to $12.77, up from $12.41. Tipped employees must still be paid $2.13 an hour, but their total earnings, including wages and tips, must still meet the minimum wage rate. Nevada's is what, $15, isn't it, roughly?
Yeah.
Right. So I'm surprised that Virginia's is so far behind, but there you go. If you get paid minimum wage, enjoy your 36 cents per hour. Okay.
Wait. I really like the one about the wait staff and how much they get paid per hour.
Well, tipped employees always that price, even the days when I was in payroll.
I know, but so
$2
as the economy worsens, so is your salary.
That's $2.13 an hour is the base rate for any tipped employees, but their tips, their wages, and their total earnings must still be brought up to minimum wage. So
right.
The employer still has to adjust for it. All right, social media.
That's why I always leave cash.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, always cash for a tip.
This one, I'm not sure how this is going to be regulated, but here, children under the age of 16 will be restricted to 1 hour per day per social media platform started January 1st. The legislation signed earlier this year by our current governor requires platforms such as Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, Pinterest, and X to enforce the limit through default settings. Now, I'm not overly active on most of those except for YouTube because of the shows, but is there really a default in those setups of how much time someone logs on? How is that enforced? I don't get it. I don't know. I'm leery about that one actually being properly enforced.
But that's the whole idea behind it. They don't want us to know.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't know if I don't know if you saw this, but I got to pop this in.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yep. Okay,
that's all right. Kimberly, thank you for your message. Yeah, Whoever said that emptiness subsides was lying. Love you guys. Love you too. Miss you. And of course, we missed the big guy. We were just reminiscing about the country bumpkin and camel toe description and how we even started Vegas Unwrapped in the first place. So make sure you go back and catch it from the start. All right, here's another one here. Breast cancer testing will be more affordable here in Virginia. New legislation signed into law earlier this year will prohibit health insurance companies from charging patients copays, deductibles, or any other fees for breast cancer testing, such as mammograms, breast MRIs, and breast ultrasounds. So that's a good one. I like that one. Why should it cost more to test to make sure that you're cancer-free? So thank you for that.
Why should it cost it all?
Why that? Well, that's
don't get me started. That's for another show.
That's another show. Here we go. Manufacturers, this is baby food protection. All right. Manufacturers will be required to test toxic heavy metals in a baby food product in accordance with limit established by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Manufacturers must also disclose toxic heavy metals on their website and on the product. When did heavy metals become a food ingredient for baby food? What am I missing here? I don't know.
I don't know.
Whew. Telephone solicitations by text messaging. The Virginia Telephone Privacy Protection Act will allow anyone receiving a telephone solicitation via text to request not to receive such messages. Didn't they have something like that years ago called Do Not Call?
Yeah, well, listen, I've been on the Do Not Call list for as long as I can remember.
Right.
It don't mean shit.
Text recipients can simply reply with the words unsubscribe or stop, and the solicitors would have to honor the request for at least 10 years. So there you go. If you file unemployment...
Well, I'm just going to start sending... Anybody who sends me a text is going to get that, hey, stop doing that.
Stop that, you country bumpkin. Unemployment compensation here in the state of Virginia. If you file a claim and it is approved, your unemployment benefits will actually go up by $52.
Nice.
So here's one kind of goes back.
Is that monthly or weekly or bi-weekly?
Current weekly, the current weekly benefits.
Okay.
This one kind of goes hand in hand.
They can buy 2 gallons of gas to get to work. Yeah.
Hey, listen, because of the grocery store discounts and stuff, when you shop and you can apply it to gas.
Right.
I put gas in my truck this past week at $2.25 a gallon.
Nice.
I had a 40-cent discount.
Okay, so what was the starting price of that gallon of gas?
$2.65, then I got 40 cents off per gallon.
Okay.
Yep.
And how long did it take you? It's like, how many dollars did you put in that slot machine to win that 45 cents?
Exactly. It cost us $10 million at Harris Teeter to get that 40 cents.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk. Before we get into resolutions, I'm going to share with you the, let's see, the top searches in the Hampton Roads area based on Google. Now, among the most searched items across the country on Google this year, top searches were Charlie Kirk, Labubu, One Big Beautiful Bill Act, the government shutdown, the first American Pope, 6-7, Sinners, Bad Bunny, and the No Kings protests. Okay, those were the number ones. Those were the top list. Now, Google compiled the terms.
That was just for the Hampton Road area?
No. That was across the country. But here's the
country. Okay.
So here's the criteria that they compiled. Google compiled the terms by measuring their respective spikes in interest rather than the actual raw number of searches. That wouldn't reflect terms unique to 2025. Generic terms like news and weather were also eliminated from the search pool. That means, strictly speaking, Google's methodology doesn't reflect what the most searched terms were.
Yeah.
It was based on spikes of interest. Okay, so for this area, here you go. For songs, I haven't heard any of them. So number one was the song Golden by Hunter X. Number 2 was Wood by Taylor Swift. You can take that to mean whatever you want. Number 3, Soda Pop. And number 4, Your Idol, both by a group called Saja Boys, S-A-J-A, I don't know. And then number 5 was Burning Blue, Mariah the Scientist. I don't know. Top 5 ticket.
Maybe now I know how my grandfather felt.
Now, keep in mind, though, this is only Hampton Roads. This is only
okay, yeah.
Okay. Number 1 ticket search, Make America Slime Again Tour, NBA Youngboy. Breezy Bowl 10 by Chris Brown. Cowboy Carter Tour by Beyonce. Demon Slayer. Kimetsu no Yaiba, the movie. And then the Carter 6 Tour by Lil Wayne. Again, have no clue. All right. Top 5 slang terms searched here. Number 1, you could probably guess 6'7".
6'7".
Number 2, PMO. Number 3, glazing. Number 4, TEA. And number 5, sharking. I guess I'm going to kick off the research of interest those in the next couple of minutes for 2026. And this one is pretty interesting. The top 5 jerseys researched here in the Hampton Roads area. Number 1, the Philadelphia Eagles. 2, Baker Mayfield. Number 3, Drake May. Number 4, Cooper DeJean. And number 5, Breezy Bowl 10 by Chris Brown. So those were a couple of categories for the top searches here in the Hampton Roads area. All right. Let's talk about resolutions. All right, folks, we have about 10 minutes left, and we'll spend the rest of the time talking about New Year's resolutions. I generally don't make New Year's resolutions because my life is pretty, I don't know how you want to describe it, that if I made resolutions, I know what I would keep and what I wouldn't keep. Do you make New Year's resolutions, John?
Only ones that I know I can keep for at least a week.
At least a week. Well, it's funny you say that because there's something on the calendar. Success and maintenance of New Year's resolutions. Confidence. Approximately 39% of people are very confident that they will keep their resolutions throughout the year, while 50% are somewhat confident. However, based and right along the way of what John just talked about, did you know that there is a day on the calendar called Quitter's Day? Historically,
For
many
smokers.
no, not smokers. Historically, many individuals abandon their goals by the second Friday of January, which just so happens to coincide with January 9th, the next Friday. Thank you, Douglas Chadwick. I love that resolution.
Who let him in here?
I'll tell you. By the way, did you posted the picture? If you want to see what a driver inside a Rose Bowl float looks like, go to Douglas Chadwick's Facebook page. And I don't know if you still have that available from yesterday's show, but at
the end of the show, we put it up there because we were talking about
the drivers. Thank you, Douglas. All right, so let's talk about the history. Douglas probably knows this because Douglas knows a lot of information. Douglas, do you know how resolutions got started? If you do, drop it in the chat room. But I'll share it while he's thinking about it. I'll try to slow it down. So Babylonians, 2000 BC, historically were the first to record New Year's pledges. They celebrated the new year in mid-March. Talk about a screwed up calendar. During a 12-day festival called the Kitu. They made promises to their gods to pay off debts and return borrowed farm equipment, believing that keeping these vows would secure divine favor for the coming year. So that was that.
So then you could always count on getting your lawnmower back then?
Yeah, exactly. Now, the Romans, circa 46 BC, when Julius Caesar established January 1st as the start of the new year, the month was named after Janus, the two-faced god of beginnings and transitions. Romans offered sacrifices to Janus and made promises of good conduct for the year ahead. So it is believed that that New Year's resolutions started some 4,000 years ago, shifting from religious oaths to gods to modern personal goals for self and self-improvement. So yes, Douglas, you are correct. The Babylonians kind of were the first ones to get things rocking and rolling. Then it goes to medieval and early modern eras. But what I want to do, let's jump to the modern era. Recorded terminology, one of the earliest known written references to a resolution specifically for the new year was the diary of Scottish writer Anne Halkett on January 2nd, 1671. The full phrase New Year resolution first appeared in a Boston newspaper in 1813. Now, secularization, try to say that fast. By the 19th and 20th centuries, resolutions became increasingly secular. Instead of promises to a deity, they became personal commitments to one's self-improvement. So the theory of resolutions to where we do our own personal goals and introspective is only, 200 plus years old, almost as old as it, 100 to, about 200 years old. Now, contemporary goals. As of 2026, resolutions typically focus on health, finances, and lifestyle changes, such as exercising more or saving money. Despite their long history, studies frequently show that only a small percentage of people, often estimated of 8 to 10%, successfully keep their resolutions for the entire year. All right. Now, based on what I just shared, 31% of U.S. adults from 2025 were polled for 2026. 31% of adults reported making New Year's resolutions. What was the number one? Top five. What do you think, John? Give me the top 5 categories that people made resolutions in.
Quit smoking, losing weight.
Hold on. I'll give you that number 3. It says eating healthier, but we'll put all that healthier stuff under that category. So that was
okay. So that's all in one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't got a clue.
All right, number 5, improving physical health, closely tied to exercise. This was cited by 21% of individuals. Number 4, saving more money. While it dropped from its 2025 ranking, it remains a primary concern for 21% of adults. Number 3, eating healthier. Number 2, just being happy. A broad goal focused on general well-being, prioritized by 23% of respondents. And the number 1, similar to the Amityville priest during yesterday's bad dad jokes, exercising more. Douglas, relationships, I would probably classify under being happy, because if you're happy about yourself, you're going to make.
Yeah, if you're happy, you're not in a relationship. Yeah.
Exactly. So, listed by approximately 25 to 48% of resolution makers was exercising more. Now, here's a funny thing, folks. Exercising doesn't have to be gym memberships and lifting weights. Just go for a walk. Walk your dog. I would say walk your cat, but that's usually pretty impossible to do. But just go walking. Park further away from the door of a store. Walk wherever you can increase your steps. Literally, that is exercising more. Increase your movement. All right, there's a lot more emerging trends and demographics. Mental health priority. Younger adults under 30 have made this a 34% resolution to being happy and 24% aiming to improve their mental health. Younger adults under 30. I can't stress that one enough. That's pretty interesting. All right. Now, how do so many resolutions fail? Let's talk about the top couple of categories. Number 1, setting unrealistic goals.
Yeah.
If you want to lose 100 or 200 pounds, don't set it for a year. Trust me, folks, it ain't going to happen that fast. Set realistic goals of maybe 5 pounds in a month. Something realistic will make it obtainable. All right. And if you are going to do a goal like that, you got to write out a plan. What's the old saying? Plan your work and then work your plan, right?
Yep.
All right. Lack of planning would be the second reason. External pressure is another reason. Sometimes resolutions are made due to social expectations rather than intrinsic motivation, which diminishes your commitment. How many times I had this growing up. You need to lose a few pounds. You're looking a little chunky. People can tell you that to the cows come home, folks, but if you're not resolved to make a change, it's not going to happen. All or nothing thinking. Viewing setbacks as complete failures can discourage continuation rather than encouraging adjustments. If in the first week you don't set a goal of a pound or 2 or walking 10,000 steps a day or whatever it is, you don't hit it the first day and you say, well, forget about it. That's what all or nothing means, okay? Historical examples of resolutions that actually persisted. Ben Franklin had 13 values. Franklin famously tracked 12 virtues such as temperance, silence, and humility in a systemic way to improve his character. All right. How to make resolutions stick, set smart goals, break it down to obtainable steps along the way, create that plan, what we talked about, track your progress. I remember when I first had the gastric sleeve procedure, when I started out at 354 pounds, I used my bathroom mirror and I used make sure you use a dry erase marker, folks. Don't use a marker. And literally on the bathroom mirror, I started tracking my weight loss so that every day I saw the progress and I had it in front of me. Sometimes it would go up, maybe a pound or two during a week, but generally it would come down. Those goals were written right in front of you. Adjust as needed. Folks, if you can't walk 10,000 steps in a day and you notice that you're walking 8,000 steps in a day, bring your goal down to 8,000 so that you can consistently hit that. And then without realizing it, all of a sudden you're 8,000, you'll start hitting 10,000. Focus on intrinsic motivation. Align resolutions with your values and interests to enhance engagement. I want to be alive as long as I can to hunt the crap out of my kids for as long as I can. Okay, that's how you get healthy. Build support systems. Talk to people around you. You want to start working out? Talk to somebody to go with you. You want to go for a walk and your significant other doesn't want to go? Find a neighbor or a friend and go together and celebrate milestones.
You got to be careful there, though.
Well, hopefully you use somebody you know. You know what I'm saying? And this is pretty important. Celebrate milestones. That first month, if your goal was 5 pounds and you hit 6, celebrate. If you hit 4 pounds instead of 5, I would still celebrate and add that extra pound to the following month. But when you achieve certain goals, and I'm only using exercise as an example, folks, whatever you set forth as a goal, when you hit it, celebrate it. All right. Believe it or not, John, we survived. The last thing I want to mention, network TV is going to probably go by way of the print and newspaper. The Oscars starting in 2029 will only be available on YouTube. So NBC has decided not to renew because viewership has actually decreased by 50% over the last decade. Barely 2 million people watch the Oscars anymore. So
wow,
maybe a switch to YouTube will make it more modern moving forward. Who knows? All right, folks, that does it for the first edition of 2026 for Aaron's Hour. John, thanks for riding along with me.
We got to do this for the whole year.
I know. I resolve to make we're going to do it every year. We're going to have at least, well, I don't want to say 52 episodes because sometimes stuff happens. We have to re-air. But we will still have a plethora of episodes.
We'll do as many as we can. Yeah.
We'll do as many as we can for sure. All right, everybody, listen, have a great week. Hopefully your 2026 is filled with goals and achievements that you'll be able to hit and look back at 2026 fondly. And we'll be here a year from now sharing all that there is moving forward. All right, as always, be kind to everybody. Why? We're all we have. We'll see you next week right here on Aaron's Hour, Coast to Coast. Thank everybody for watching.
Hey, honey, what you doing?
Getting ready to watch a game.
What about fixing up the house like you promised?
What you talking about?
Just the new light in the den, the new shower in our bathroom, the new fence around the yard, the front steps.
Stop! You know, I have a better idea. You know Craig down the street? He owns a company that specializes in handyman services, but he is more than just any old handyman.
Really? Would you say different strokes for different folks?
You know I will. You know why? Because he does home repairs and he does painting and kitchen remodels and bathrooms and everything else in between.
How are his prices?
Great value for great quality. You know, I think I'll invite him over and get a free estimate for all the things that I know will make you the happiest here.
Call Different Strokes Painting and Handyman Service for a free estimate by calling 757-395-9999 today.
That's 757-395-9999. Above the rest, they show up and show out by making your vision come to life.
I wouldn't let aging stop me from being me.
Oh yeah, still got those moves in me.
I will be fabulous.
I will accessorize.
Comfort Care can help with as much or as little home care as you need. From medication reminders and meal prep to everyday chores and errands. Let us create your personalized care plan and find the perfect caregiver match so you can live your best life possible.
credit card debt getting you down? When that student loan payment is due, does your cable bill go unpaid? Are you ready to throw in the towel because you do not know how to financially survive? The Miliari Group is ready to educate you on how to get out from under the pile of debt and retire as a tax-free millionaire. They eliminate student and credit card debt and help families set their kids up for success. For more information, call 956-532-2349 or email williamsastria961@gmail.com or scan the QR code to meet with us. The first 100 calls will receive a free will. So, call 956-532-2349 or scan the QR code now and learn how to become the millionaire you always dreamed to be.
Men, are you disappointing your partner in the bedroom? Let's cut to the chase. Are you suffering from erectile dysfunction? 50% of men between the ages of 40 to 70 experience some form of ED. If you are experiencing ED, there is help without pills or needles to even worry about. Coastal 757 Aesthetics has new technology for men called Apex RF. Apex RF is a modern, non-invasive treatment that uses radio frequency to strengthen tissue from the inside out, resulting in better blood flow to the penis and a happier life partner. Call Coastal 757 Aesthetics at 757-481-4036 for a free consultation. That's 757-481-4036. Coastal 757 Aesthetics. Care for all phases of life.